Okay, so let's talk about this really interesting new phone from Samsung, the Galaxy S25 Edge.
Mhm.
The thing that hits you immediately, I mean, it's just unbelievably thin, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Like noticeably thinner than pretty much anything else in its class right now. It really stands out.
It does, and it makes you ask, who is this really for? Because getting that thin,
Right.
there must be trade-offs, right?
Exactly. That's the core question. What compromises did they make? Is it just about the slimness, or is there more to it?
And where does it fit? You've got the regular S25, the Plus, the Ultra.
Hmm.
This Edge seems like maybe an ultralight in some ways, but different.
Yeah, it's sort of carving its own niche. Premium design, definitely, but maybe shedding some weight and features compared to the top dog.
Let's get into the specifics then. The thinness, we're talking 5.8 millimeters.
Which sounds tiny, and honestly, it feels tiny. You
Yeah.
put it next to the S25 Ultra, it's almost a third thinner.
Wow. And even compared to the regular S25 or the Plus,
Mm-hmm.
how are they, like 7.2, 7.3 millimeters?
Something like that, yeah. So 1.4, 1.5 millimeters difference. It doesn't sound like a huge amount on paper, but in your hand.
It makes a massive difference, yeah. You really feel it.
And it's not like it feels cheap because of it. They've used titanium for the frame.
Right. Strong but light.
Exactly. And the glass is interesting, too. Up
Yeah.
front, it's this Gorilla Glass ceramic, too.
Supposedly tougher.
Yeah, they're claiming it can handle multiple drops onto concrete from about a meter.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive, if true.
Okay. And the back.
That's Gorilla Glass Victus, too. Still very durable stuff,
And the weight, you mentioned light. Get this. 163 grams.
which is like the same as the smaller base S25.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And way lighter than the Plus, which is around 190 G, or the Ultra, which is
Right.
what, 220 something.
223G, yeah.
Mhm.
So this Edge feels remarkably light for its size, even with that big 6.7-inch screen.
Gives it a really nice in-hand feel despite the screen size.
Definitely. And the look of it. That camera module, the sort of floating island design.
Yeah, I've seen that mentioned.
Some people are saying it's actually the best-looking camera setup in the whole S25 range. It's quite clean.
Aesthetics matter, for sure. What about colors?
You've got titanium silver, a jet black, and this icy blue.
That blue sounds nice.
Yeah, it seems quite popular. And interestingly, despite being so thin, they kept a physical SIM tray.
Oh, that's good. Not forced into eSIM only.
Right, a practical touch.
Yeah.
And they managed IP68 water and dust resistance, too.
Seriously, in a phone that thin, that's quite an engineering feat.
It really is. Shows they didn't just shave off millimeters carelessly.
Okay, and the display itself, 6.7 inches, you said?
Yep, standard size for this kind of tier.
Yeah.
It's OLED, 1440 by 320 pixels, so nice and sharp.
Refresh rate, brightness.
120 hertz refresh rate, super smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And peak brightness is 2600 nits, same as the S25 Plus.
Pretty bright then, but one thing it doesn't have from the Ultra is that anti-reflective coating, right?
Correct. That's an ultra-only feature, it seems. Shame, because it does make a difference outdoors.
Yeah, it really does. Okay, so great build, feels amazing, display's solid. What's powering it? Did they compromise there?
Nope, looks like full flagship power. It's got the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy.
Ah, the same chip as the rest of the S25 lineup.
Exactly. So performance should be absolutely top-notch. No corners cut there.
Good. RAM and storage.
Comes with 12 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM, which is plenty. And storage options are 256 GB or 512 GB.
No microSD slot, I assume.
No, afraid not. Pretty standard for flagships these days.
Connectivity. All the latest.
Yep, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4. It's running Android 15 with Samsung's One UI 7 on top.
Okay, so spec-wise, aside from maybe that screen coating, it seems pretty much flagship level.
Performance-wise, absolutely. But then we get to the cameras.
Ah, yes. The inevitable point of discussion with thin phones. What's the setup?
This is definitely where you see the impact of that slim design. It's a dual lens system.
Okay, main camera.
It's a 200 megapixel main sensor. Sounds impressive, but the module itself is about 18% thinner than usual.
Does that affect quality?
Potentially. Flattening the lens structure might mean images are a touch softer compared to, say, the S25 Ultra's 200 MP camera.
Okay.
Subtle, maybe, but possible.
Okay. And the second lens.
It's a 12 megapixel ultra wide. Now, interestingly, that's a lower resolution than the ultra wide on the Ultra, or even the standard S25. But this one does have autofocus.
Ah, so you can use it for macro shots.
Exactly. That's a nice bonus, actually. Gives it some versatility.
But what's missing compared to the Ultra, for example?
The big emissions are the telephoto lenses. No
Mhm.
3x or 5x optical zoom, what you get on the Ultra.
Right. So if zoom photography is your thing, this probably isn't the one.
Definitely a major consideration.
Mm.
You're relying purely on digital zoom from that main sensor past 1x.
And the front camera.
That's a 12-megapixel sensor. Looks pretty standard. Has dual-pixel autofocus, so selfies should be sharp.
Video capabilities.
Up to 8K at 30 frames per second, so still high-end video recording.
Okay, so camera-wise, high-res main, decent ultra-wide with macro, but no dedicated zoom. A clear trade-off.
Absolutely. Now, the other big potential trade-off, battery.
Yeah, I was waiting for this. How big is it? Or rather, how small?
It's 3,900 millibar.
Oof. Okay, compared to the Plus.
A Plus has 4,900 millibar.
Wow, a full 1,000 millar difference.
And the Ultra has 5,000 millibar. So yeah, 3,900 millibar is noticeably smaller.
You've got to assume battery life is going to take a hit then.
It's almost unavoidable, isn't it? You just can't fit as much battery capacity into such a thin chassis. Samsung might optimize it well, but physics is physics.
You'll probably get through a day if you're careful, but maybe not if you're a heavy user.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
And you also have to wonder about longevity, right? Smaller batteries tend to go through charge cycles faster.
Good point. Degradation could be more of a concern over 2 or 3 years. And charging speeds, did they bump those up to compensate?
No. It's 25W wired and 15W wireless.
Same as the base S25.
Exactly. Not exactly super fast charging, especially when you might need to top up more often.
Yeah, 25 watts feels a bit pedestrian now, doesn't it? Especially for a premium phone.
It does feel a little behind the curve compared to some competitors pushing much faster speeds.
Okay, so potential battery concerns. Let's talk price. How much does this thinness cost you?
Well, the 256GB model launches at $1,099, or $1,249. The 512GB is €1,219, or $1,369. UK price is $1,099 for the base.
So definitely premium pricing. How does that sit next to the S25 Plus art?
That's the interesting part. The S25 Plus Air, with its bigger battery and only slightly thicker design, is often around the same price, sometimes even a bit cheaper depending on deals.
And the Ultra.
The Ultra starts higher, but often comes down with promotions, potentially landing in a similar ballpark after a while. So the Edge isn't necessarily a cheaper premium option.
Samsung does have that Galaxy Club thing though, right? Early access, trade-in deals.
Yeah, they offer things like guaranteed minimum trade-in values, which can soften the blow for upgraders.
Okay, so given the price and the specific trade-offs, who do you think Samsung is actually targeting here?
It feels like a very specific niche. Someone who really values that ultra-thin, lightweight feel above almost everything else.
Like the thinness is the main feature for them.
Pretty much. Someone who wants that premium Samsung experience,
Yeah.
maybe likes the big screen, but finds the Ultra too bulky and isn't fussed about having the absolute best camera zoom or the longest battery life, and probably isn't super price sensitive.
It's almost like buying it for the aesthetic, the vibe. A bit like why someone might choose a foldable.
Exactly. It's a statement piece in a way.
Yeah.
But then you run into the case problem.
Oh, yeah. The great irony. You buy this super thin phone.
And then you slap a case on it that adds back the thickness you paid to remove.
Defeats the purpose a bit, doesn't it? Unless
Yeah.
you go caseless or use a really thin skin.
Right. Maybe it's for the brave or the very careful.
What's the general buzz been like? Are people excited about thin phones again?
It's mixed. Honestly, you see a lot of comments saying, we want better battery life, not thinner phones.
Yeah, that's a common refrain.
And the reaction to that 3900 mAh battery specifically has been, well, let's just say not universally positive. Some online comments are pretty harsh.
Abysmal, a joke. I've seen some of those.
There's also some disappointment about the flat display, surprisingly. Some people miss the curves.
Interesting. And you have those rumors about a super thin iPhone 17 Air coming too. Is this the start of a trend, maybe?
It could be. Maybe manufacturers think thinness is a more immediately obvious differentiator than, say, slightly faster processors or minor camera tweaks.
For the average person walking into a store picking up 2 phones, the thinner one might just feel more advanced or futuristic.
Possibly. Tech enthusiasts might scoff at the compromises, but that initial tactile impression could be powerful for some buyers. Samsung might be banking on that wow factor.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the main trade-offs here. You get that amazing thin and light design.
But you're likely sacrificing battery life. You lose the telephoto zoom lenses.
The ultra-wide is slightly lower res, though it does gain autofocus for macro.
Right. No S Pen support like the Ultra. No fancy anti-reflective screen coating.
And maybe the speakers aren't quite as full-sounding as thicker phones?
Potentially, yeah. Less internal volume can affect speaker resonance, and all this comes at a pretty high price, considering some of those feature cuts.
It really boils down to that core question, doesn't it?
Mhm.
For you, listening now, is that extreme thinness, that specific feel in the hand worth giving up battery stamina, camera versatility? I mean, maybe saving some money on a different model.
It's a very personal calculation.
Mhm.
And maybe it makes us think more broadly. In a market obsessed with packing everything in, is there a place for a phone that deliberately prioritizes form and feel, even if it means trimming back elsewhere?
Or is it just choosing style over substance? What's
Yeah.
more important to you in your next phone? That's something to really chew on.